This is the Nike Zoomfly 3 150-mile review. So the first thing I want to talk about is the build of the Nike Zoomfly 3. We have one right here. I have done 150 miles in these, and I just so you know, I have done a first impressions, which I did in the same video with a 21-mile long run. So a very thorough first impressions. I will link that video above. But this is after 150 miles. I know a lot more about the shoe, and it's kind of progressed with me. I don't think I have too many new updates based on the first impressions, but let's get into the build of the shoe. We'll go over from top to bottom, each piece, how I've enjoyed or disliked any of it. And then we're gonna get into comfort, the ride, breakdown, and how the shoe feels at different speeds. And then finally, we will do price point shoe comparisons. And obviously, at the end of the day, I will give this shoe a Kyle McCue running rating, which will give you an ultimate view on how I think it stacks up against any other shoe that I have reviewed on the channel. So without further ado, let's get into the build of these shoes. Okay, so top to bottom, we'll start out with the upper. This is the Vapor Weave upper, but it is not specifically Vapor Weave alone. Now it has that technology as the outer layer, but then it also has kind of like a nylon booty that is the booty to your shoe. Now there is no actual tongue to this. There's just the part of that booty that kind of hugs to your foot. I really like that. I've had no issues with how that hugs to the foot. It has not stretched out. After 150 miles, it still fits fine. Lacing's fine. The eyelets and everything work for me. I have not had to go all the way to the top with the eyelets. What am I, just rubbing my eye during a video? So yeah, lacing's fine. Vapor Weave is interesting. It seems light and breathable. I have not had any breathability issues with it, although I did not get this pair of shoes until about November 2020, if that was even a year. And so I have not really run with this shoe in the hotter months, but I have done 21 mile runs in these. I've done 30-mile runs in these shoes and did not have any breathability issues. So Vapor Weave works for me. I have not tried a shoe which is that has Fly Knit, which is the previous version of this exact shoe. So I don't really have anything to compare it to. Again, stability in terms of the upper, it's very minimal. Like even if you take a look at the heel just kind of flops down. So it definitely is built, I would say, like a racer in terms of everything in the upper. But then as you move down, it turns into more, I would say, a daily trainer from that way down. The midsole, entirely Nike React foam. Not quite the Zoom X light material, but it is super durable. Again, this is the only Nike I've run in, but the midsole has held up really, really well over 150 miles. I don't feel too much of a difference this far in with the React foam. In there is the Nike carbon plate that hugs your heel. It runs all the way through the shoe, and that is kind of a springboard that I think works pretty well in terms of giving you a firm springboard with the cushion of the Nike React foam on a really big stack. I believe it's a 36 in the heel and 28 in the toe, giving it an 8mm drop. And then you have the rubber outsole right here that honestly, after 150 miles, has held up amazingly. Like this could be 10 miles in. Honestly, that kind of wraps up the upper and the build of the shoe. Overall, like I said before, the React foam is a little bit heavier. The shoe comes in at about 9.2 ounces, I believe. So it's heavy for a shoe that was advertised as a race shoe. There's so many shoes that come out since in terms of the next percent, Alpha Fly, and the Tempos. So like there's a lot of shoes to pick from in terms of the most recent Nike lineup. However, yeah, I think this is a shoe that goes the distance, can deal with a ton of miles, but also has a fairly light, breathable Vapor Weave technology in the upper that works pretty well. But let's get into the comfort, feel, and the ride of this bad boy. Okay, so when it comes to the ride and the fit of the shoe, it has honestly been as comfortable the day I jumped into it to the run I went on this morning. It really has been, it has not loosened as I would imagine this type of booty design would be. In addition, the React foam has not broken down much over 150 miles. The outsole has taken very little damage. And in general, the comfort, the cushion, the springiness of the plate, I don't think have dissipated over 150 miles. That being said, I would also like to add that I've run in this shoe at 5K pace, and I also did a 30-miler slow run basically for around Christmas. That was a little bit of a trudge. Now I know that people have said that running in carbon-plated shoes at slower paces has been a cause for hot spots or rubbing or general discomfort, and they're just not made for for that type of running, which is true. But I would say, I've run at every speed at 3K to 30 miles, and I have not had any sort of rubbing, hot spot, or any real discomfort based on my pace. I would also like to add to that I do wear my shoes downsized almost always. So like true to size for me, in my opinion, for me is like a 10, but like if I go and get my feet fitted someplace, they'll probably want to start me off in an 11. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with different types of discomfort at different speeds. I have felt comfortable in the Nike Zoom Fly 3s at every different speed and distance that I have tried them out at. Okay, so finally, the last thing I want to talk about is price point, comparison to some other shoes, and then obviously my rating of it. So price point, this comes in at $90 currently, early 2021. It came out 2019, early 2019, so it's not a new shoe. But I would say, from what I've seen from other shoes that would compete with this that have come out from Nike since then, this shoe's still kind of worth it. Now, hear me out here. I have not run in the Tempos, the Next Percents, or the Alpha Flies. And from everything I've seen, I would 100% say that anyone currently who has run in all those shoes would pick the Alpha Flies or the Next Percents over this shoe for a race. But I've seen a lot of really mixed things about the Tempo Nike shoe. And I'm not going to lie, like if you are specifically looking for a shoe that is going to be a trainer and not a race shoe, I'd probably go for this one for $90 rather than the Tempos that just came out and are like, I actually don't know. I'll put the price on the screen someplace, but it's way more. So in terms of the price point for a Nike shoe, if you can find the shoe in your size, this isn't going to be like the ultimate race shoe for you. But if you're looking for something that's not that expensive, especially in the Nike world, that could be kind of your do-it-all daily trainer. I mean, I ran my fastest marathon in the Zoom Fly 3s this year. I also ran my fastest 5K in the Zoom Fly 3s this year. But yeah, I'm just saying, in terms of the price and the shoes that have come out since, I still think there's a place for this if it fits your needs of your budget and what you're going to be using it for. If it's purely a race shoe, and you're okay with buying the Next Percents, like that's probably a better shoe for you. I've never worn the Next Percent or the Alpha Fly, but I've never paid more than $200 for a pair of shoes. Maybe one day I will. So yeah, price is good. Comparisons to other shoes, one shoe I have run in, this always comes up. It was the shoe of 2020, the Saucony Endorphin Speed for $160 and is more available. Oops, hit the microphone. Always happens once. And is quite a bit lighter. So I would take the Saucony Endorphin Speed over this shoe in terms of being a daily trainer that you can also race in. That being said, right now, that's a $70 difference in price point. So for the $90, if you can find this shoe, you'd probably you can't go too wrong unless you've really had issues in previous Zoom Fly fits or whatever it may be. Yeah, I would just say the other shoe that I would compare this to, I have not run in, is the Nike Tempos, Next Percent Tempos. That would probably be the shoe to replace this in terms of moving forward with the Nike line. That being said, I've also have seen really all over the board reviews of the Tempos. I'm not a fan of the AirPods in shoes. One, I think they just look silly, and two, I think they look silly. That's all I got for you. So you've got your price point. I would compare these to the Saucony Endorphin Speed, and I would also compare it to the Tempos. And finally, the Kyle McCue running rating for the Nike Zoom Fly 3. This was tough for me, but ultimately throughout 2020, the Endorphin Speed was the shoe But in the second half, since getting this shoe, I crushed a lot of running, and I thought they were comfortable the whole time, and I didn't have to break the bank for them. I gave them 4.3. I think that's pretty good. I'm trying to be more harsh on these. Comfortable, 150 miles. I will definitely be updating you after maybe 200 miles because I'm going to keep going. Like I said, the React Foam has not let me down yet. Awesome shoe. Nike Zoom Fly 3. Pretty dope. Okay, everyone, that is all I have for you. Hopefully you got something out of this video. Let me know if you have run in the Nike Zoom Fly 3s as well, or if you have a good replacement shoe for them. Maybe you've run in the Tempos and you had a really good time in them. Just let me know down in the comments. So yeah, please feel free to also like or subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying what you're seeing. And obviously, as always, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace. Oh, I've been slurping. Oh man, I got a comment on the last one that I was yawning at the end. And I almost feel like I try really hard to not yawn during, like while you're filming. But then like as soon as I stop, it's like, whew, got that done. I'm gonna yawn now.